everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Tuesday, June 23rd. I wanted to thank Paul Ortiz for stepping in for me yesterday. All right, on our show today, we have from Hoag, Dr. Minh Nguyen, and then she's going to talk to us about different types of cancers here from the Cancer Institute. Then we also will have the Flukes, who is a village band, and they've got a lot of fun things that they're hoping to have come up in August. But with the COVID-19, we're still trying to get them out there. All right, couple of actually no meetings today, so you don't have to worry about that. And then resources that are available to you, as we always have been giving you, is the ochealthinfo.com, where you can get the numbers per day, cdc.gov, staying healthy with COVID-19, and then covid19.ca.gov, where you can get all your California numbers and the governor reopening plans. Or you can go to our website, which is lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com, or you could email us at info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Let's take a look at our weather. The weather today is partly cloudy, and it's still a little foggy out there. 79-65 for today. Wednesday's looking also partly cloudy, but sunny in the morning, 78-64. Thursday, 76-61. Friday, 78-62. And then Saturday will be 79-63. Our sunrise and sunset, the sunrise was 5:42 this morning, and our sunset will be 8:05. And thank you, Joel Goldstein, for sending us this nice photo. We appreciate that. If you have a photo, send it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we return, we will have Hoag for you. Stay tuned. Today I am joined by Dr. Minh Nguyen, who is here from Hoag, and he is a medical oncologist. So we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to still take into consideration during COVID-19 and know that they are treating people. Isn't that correct, doctor?
Yes, absolutely. Healthcare doesn't stop amid COVID-19, and so we still are needing to see our patients.
Excellent, excellent. And I know that there have been a lot of changes that have gone on in terms of preparing for people to come into the facility. But what are some of the things that, what have you guys been doing in addressing the COVID-19 and treating your cancer patients at this time?
Yes, so we've had to make some dramatic changes in the way we do things because of COVID-19 in the sense of keeping everybody safe, not just from patient standpoint, but also our staff and our office. And so we've done several things. Number one, we are limiting the patients we see to the more urgent patients right now. For example, we have some routine follow-up patients who are years out from their cancer diagnosis that don't necessarily need to come in right now. We can delay those follow-ups for a couple of months, few months. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the patients who are actively being treated for cancer, whether it be on chemotherapy, radiation, we're seeing those patients in the majority to make sure that their treatment stays on time and that they're appropriately taken care of. Okay. So by decreasing the amount of appointments we're seeing, it decreases the flow through the office. And so we don't have as many people in the office in the waiting rooms, for example. The other thing we've had to do is change our staff scheduling just to allow for less patients to be seen in the office. So, for example, the chemotherapy infusions, because the chairs are close together, we are actually spacing those apart now so that patients are not next to each other. And in order to do that, we have to prolong the times, the office time that we're open in order to accommodate those infusion times and space patients out. So we've gone from an 8-hour day to a 12-hour day. And in doing so, we've split up our staff so that half can work one day and half the other day.
There's a lot of preparation that has, I mean, well, not so much preparation, but there's a lot of changes. And especially with people who have had cancer, because I understand, that is one of the areas that most people were worried about in terms of contracting COVID-19.
Absolutely. Our patients who are diagnosed with cancer, they're often on immune suppressive therapies, whether it be chemotherapy or radiation, or even surgery in the post-op setting. These patients are at increased risk for infection. And so these patients are at greater risk than your average population for COVID-19. There's a lot about COVID-19 that we don't really know and understand because it's such a new disease. It's a pandemic. And so we're learning from small studies. And looking at some studies coming out of China, we've realized that cancer patients have not had an increased rate of COVID-19 infection, which is good. But at the same time, those cancer patients make up a very small number in these studies. And these studies are already small to begin with. So we're talking case numbers of 20 or 30 patients with cancer and looking at the COVID-19 rate. So I don't know that data is really reliable, saying that their rate of infection is the same as the population. But we do know that they are certainly immune suppressed. Our chemotherapies cause a decrease in their white blood cells and their neutrophils, and certainly they are at increased risk for infection. So I always counsel my patients that whatever everybody else is doing, you need to be 10 times more vigilant because you're at greater risk.
Absolutely. And thank you for addressing that, because I think when we look at some of these studies, we're looking at what's the bottom line, but we're not looking at the whole picture. And so when you hear that, only 20 patients with cancer, I mean, that's nothing compared to how many people do have cancer.
That's correct. And that's why it's a moving target too. I mean, we hear it even just for the general population on what you're supposed to do. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. CDC is changing their guidelines based on information that's coming out. And so even though we have these small trials coming out of China, the data, I think, in my opinion, is unreliable. And so we just need to protect ourselves best we can.
Excellent. So if you have patients let's just say the patients that you do have who are in our community, and they might be afraid, because a lot of people have been very afraid to go to their regular doctor, to go to the hospital, to go to any treatment. I know you mentioned that you've separated your chairs and now you've changed your staff. Is there anything else that you would want them to know so they aren't afraid?
I think that we need to continue with our screening modalities. Just because of COVID-19, cancer doesn't stop. And my major concern is that everything has shut down in the past 3 months. We're just starting to reopen now, but things have stopped occurring in the past 3 months, including screening procedures, whether it be because facilities aren't open or patients are afraid from coming in. And with the lack of screening, I'm concerned that in the next 3 to 6 months or a year, we're going to start seeing a large number of cases of people coming in with more advanced cancer that is more difficult to cure because of late findings. And so I would urge that people still stay on top of their cancer screening routine. For example, breast cancer and getting breast mammograms done. While it might be okay to delay your mammogram a month, I don't know that it's okay to delay it several months. And so I would urge that people still go in for their screening procedures. At Hoag Hospital, things are being done very cautiously, opening back up. I think Hoag just reopened up their screening modalities in the last few weeks, whether it be a screening colonoscopy or screening mammogram. And so precautions are being taken into allowing patients into these facilities for screening. For example, colonoscopies, patients are allowed to have one visitor with them only. They're not allowed to bring in multiple people, so we're trying to minimize patient flow through there.
Okay.
And anytime patients are coming in for procedures, they are required to have COVID-19 testing done 3 days in advance. And once that swab is done, we ask that patients self-quarantine for the next few days until their procedure occurs, such that they don't obtained the virus in those few days right before the procedure. And so we are taking appropriate steps and precautions in trying to keep patients safe. And again, I think these screening procedures are necessary because if colon cancer isn't caught early, oftentimes it has spread to the lymph nodes. And when cancer spreads to lymph nodes or even beyond that, it becomes more challenging to cure. And our goal in these screening procedures is curability. We don't want to find patients with late stage cancer. We want to make sure that we find them early on and that they're in a area that we can still offer curative therapies, whether it be surgery and or chemoradiation. So it's important to have that screening done.
So, in regards to some of the new practices that I think you guys have been going under, and not just you, but across the country, really, is a telehealth. And you had mentioned that's something you guys have been doing. So tell me how that helps in screening people for cancer.
So telehealth is something that has kind of been a need in these times. It's a technology that has been around, but nobody has really latched onto it quickly. But now we are all forced to do it very quickly. And as physicians, we are learning that technology very quickly, kind of like these Zoom meetings. We are able to connect to our patients through these telehealth, to touch base with them to see how they're doing. Telehealth allows the patients to talk to us, and in even just talking to people, we're able to screen them for symptoms, screen them for any abnormalities. And if those screening questions show of any concern, then we're still able to bring them into the office for an actual physical exam. And so telehealth has really transformed what we're doing. It allows patients to connect to us safely. And by the way, I think telehealth also is dependent upon the end user. Not everybody is comfortable with telehealth, especially in my patient population where people are a little bit older and not comfortable with technology. Even though I offer telehealth, many patients are still asking to come in face-to-face because they're not comfortable with just a video conference. They want to be able to see their physician and they want to be able to be examined, because ultimately that is the safer approach. But in the current time that we have, telemedicine does allow us to at least connect with patients preliminarily to screen them and say, okay, yeah, you definitely need to come in for a visit to have this problem checked out.
Right. And it's good to know that you guys are opening and you're open now and you can take patients and you've done all the precautionary measures to make sure they're safe, because I think for this whole time there has been a fear, and you addressed that earlier. But again, it never hurts to say it again, that it is okay to see your doctor. It is okay to go get your screenings now, because you guys have made so many changes.
Absolutely. And in fact, the disinfecting protocols have changed. I mean, we're wiping down the exam room as soon as someone walks out. That whole exam room gets wiped down before the next patient goes in. The table, the exam table, the countertops. Our staff are wiping these things down before the next patient comes in. Obviously, people are getting screened for symptoms as they come through the front door. Their temperature is getting checked. At Hoag, there's an advanced system of infrared technology where you just walk through the door and a camera's on the face and taking your temperature as you walk by. And there's someone at every entrance screening for symptoms, cough, fever. Anybody with symptoms is being asked to not enter the hospital. And obviously anybody who's screened with a temperature is asked to not enter as well. So yeah, lots of things are being done to make sure that people are safe when they enter the facility.
Well, you're the first one I've heard about the infrared. That's pretty cool.
It is cool. Initially, they had just those regular thermometers that they shoot at your forehead to get a temperature, and you have to pause and talk. Now, the infrared, you walk right by the beam and it gets your temperature right away, and the person standing at the table asks you a few preliminary questions quickly, and you can get through within a matter of seconds rather than minutes.
I love it. That is really awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been great information, and hopefully the viewers will heed the advice and not be afraid anymore. So thank you for all that you guys have been doing.
Absolutely. And, I want everybody out there to know that even though COVID is around, life still goes on, cancer still goes on, and screening is still important. So reach out to your physician, reach out to your primary care docs. Everybody's doing telemedicine now. It's readily available. You should be able to talk to your doctors very easily.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The Subaru Outback is all new for 2020. With standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 33 miles per gallon. An available 260 horsepower turbocharged engine, advanced technology, and an extra-large touchscreen. Welcome to the best Outback ever, the 2020 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you.
Come into Irvine Subaru and get complimentary maintenance included on all new Subarus and celebrate the Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Constance, John, and Carmen, who are here on behalf of the Flukes. Well, I am actually going to ask you all to answer this question. So we'll start off with Constance, just because she happens to be at the top of the screen. So welcome, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Really good.
Excellent, excellent. So Constance, I want you to kind of go over, your musical background. If you don't play an instrument, why do you love music so much?
I don't play an instrument, and I love music so much because I love to dance.
Yes.
Any place, anywhere, and right now it's killing us because there's no music anywhere to dance to.
I hear ya. I love to dance too, and we turned my girlfriend's living room into Club COVID. So
You need a band?
Really good.
Do you need a band?
we do need a band, but you got to be free. So I don't know if that's going to work out for you. How about you, John?
Oh, I play guitar, a little bit of piano, a little bit of pretend drums, the little percussion stuff, and just have always loved music. Heavily influential. Makes, like CJ said, makes you move. You don't really know why. I just find that awesome.
And what kind of guitar do you play?
Acoustic, mostly rhythm.
Oh, fun. Okay, excellent. And Carmen?
I'm a bass player, and so my influence has been just tons of music from being a teenager up until now. So I play bass in the Flukes. That's what I do.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, I love that. Now, wait, I heard that somebody is a rapper. Which person is a rapper?
It was me. You're using the term very loosely. We did a video that you guys aired, kind of a welcome card or a hey, we miss you guys card to the community. And they asked me to rap for part of it. And, I definitely wanted to make it interesting. So did the best I could. It came out all right.
You got to try new things, right? I mean, this is why we're all here. Let's try something new. I think that, for the last 12 weeks, we've been locked inside for the most part. And, it starts to make us appreciate, maybe trying new things. And so I think that's really fun that you guys were able to do that. John, tell me how Flukes came together.
It kind of ties into the name, so it can cover both those thoughts. Basically, when I moved out here, I left my guitar back in Sausalito, where I'm from. I figured it was kind of done for me. I had played way back when in high school, a little bit in college, sang a little bit, and just never went anywhere. So I wasn't thinking of it. But right away, when I moved out here, one of our neighbors had a little get together for everybody, and met a guy sitting right next to me, completely coincidental, who lived down the hall. And he goes, what do you like to do since you've been here? I said, well, I don't really know you. It's too new, but I'm thinking I'll take some classes, maybe get involved with some of the music classes. I think, well, I like to play music too. Turns out that was Scott, who's our lead guitarist and fellow founder. And that was the ultimate fluke to just walk into that guy. And everybody else in the band has a story like that, that we knew there's something else or some other way, one fluke after the next. And that's what has created the band. And the fact that it all seems to gel so well, and we've had a good time. A lot of people enjoy hearing us. It's been a great, just a great story.
And Carmen, how did you get involved?
Well, being part of many clubs here in the village over the last 2.5 years, you get to meet a lot of people. Met John at one of the clubs. I think it was
club.
the foodies or the wine club or Chicago club or one of the clubs where there's thousands of
Well, there's
people.
only 350. Come on.
I know, and then each one has about 500 to between 100 and 500.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so we all went to, so we met John and his lovely wife Susan, and we went to dinner, and we had them over the house, and John saw some guitars that I had, and we started talking about music, and one thing led to another, and he said, I think he was looking for a bass player at the time, and
Wow.
so he invited me over, and we just started at the rec room, and from there we just kind of grew, and then we had
Okay.
other
right,
players later.
And Constance, how about you? I mean, being the manager is not something you just sort of walk into lightly. So tell me what that means.
Well, that means I like networking, but I also am pretty persistent. And
Oh, not at all.
I have been quite persistent about having music at the 19. And
Oh,
so
yes,
I
you are.
have developed a relationship with Tony there, saying we really need some music here. And when the Flukes came together as this fluky thing, I said, Tony, what do you think about that? And so therefore I became the one that kind of organized and coordinated the scheduling, the contact people of who you need to talk to in the rec room and so on. So, or the rec department rather. So that's kind of how I fell into it. I am persistent, but I am fairly organized and coordinated. So I have a little checklist. I don't procrastinate. I get it done so I have a clean slate. So I think that's kind of how I became the manager. And as you probably have guessed now, they don't call me Constance. They call me CJ.
EJ, I like it. I like it. So boys, what's it like working with Constance? You know, I mean, I work with her on a regular basis, but it's all makeup-y stuff. What is she like outside of that?
She's the greatest. First
I was
off,
going to say she's amazing. I wouldn't have it any other way. She's awesome.
first off, what's really cool about CJ, she uses the telephone. She actually picks up a telephone. She answers it, and she picks it up and she makes phone calls. Most other people are just texting and not responding, and lots of emails and telepathy and all that other crap. She uses a telephone. She actually picks up and calls and takes our call. So,
and I'll one up that story with CJ's our barometer. We know we're playing well when she starts dancing. So she's actually really important to the band's development. We got to make sure she's happy.
if her toe's not tapping, we're not doing the right job.
She needs to be moving.
Well, that's a good thing because then you can get everybody involved. You know, you don't just sit there and play and then, invite people. She's probably pulling people up to the dance.
Exactly.
Exactly.
She's key to this. She's equal to any other fluke. She's key.
Now, there's other members. Can you give me just a brief description of the other members?
Yeah, Pam is our vocalist, and we have Jeff, who also is a vocalist. And we have a new drummer, Ron, and a new keyboard player, Chris.
Wow, so new members. Are they all people that are from the village or outside?
In the village. Jeff is just outside the village, and Chris has two homes. He has one here and one outside the village, but he bumped into the drummer because he's living next door to him. So again, it's really fluky. And we do have a website so that you can go to that, the flukes.com, and it's 2 U's, so it's FLUUKES. Okay. And we have a YouTube, and it's been really a great time, and it's been a great time for Tony. We're anxious to be able to have things open up so we can get back and start bringing music back to the 19.
Now, you said you have a YouTube channel. So there's a band that I follow, and we just love them so much. And they have a YouTube channel, and they've been doing some live things through Facebook. So have you thought about doing that?
Well, the problem is finding a place to do these things, because as we practiced before was in the rec room where John and Scott live. And now that's closed. We can't do it. So right now, thanks to my pastor, we are practicing in the church.
Well, you could do a live thing from the church.
And we could do a live thing there, but we are just getting we're getting the 2 members, so we're kind of getting ourselves reorganized after so many months off.
Right.
Everybody's rusty.
Love that. Well, when that happens, let us know and we'll promote that for you guys, because I think it was great. I mean, like I said, we've been turning living rooms into dance rooms, and when we were playing the thing on the screen, it was awesome. And it was just our band, and we loved them, and we were so sad that we haven't seen them in so long. So I'm sure you have a really good following so far, and they would love to see that.
Yes. The shock was, I think, to us and to Tony, we had no idea who would show up at our first performance on the patio of the 19.
Yeah.
And every time there would be 150 to 200 people crammed in there and dancing. They would, if there was a corner, they found a place to dance because the music is awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure your music is wonderful, but as you know, obviously that's not going to open up to that quite yet. And we're also very hopeful of August, but on a very limited basis. So, hopefully you guys will be able to get back out there soon. But nonetheless, thank you all for being with me. I appreciate it. It's really nice to get to know you, and we look forward to hearing your music.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Thanks.
All
very
right, you
much.
guys, take care and stay healthy.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye.
And we'll be right back after this.
Announcements for you before we head out. We've got a couple concerts real quick. We have a classical concert at 3 p.m. today, and then a country Americana at 6 p.m. The first one is live.nationalsawdust.org, and the second one you can go onto Facebook and type in Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. And then also immediately following our morning broadcast at 9:30 this morning, we will be replaying the medical roundtable that we held a couple of weeks ago. And again, like I mentioned, that will be this morning at 9:30 immediately following. If you missed that, you can always go to lagunawoodsvillage.com/YouTube. Let's take a look at our weather one last time. It is still foggy in the morning hours, but should hopefully clear by at least 1 o'clock today. We're looking at 79, 65, 78, 64. Thursday, 76, 61, and then by Saturday, it's looking 79, 63. So have a great day in the village. You can watch our rebroadcast today at 12:30 and 5, or see us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day in the village and stay healthy. Bye-bye.
Summer is here. Diane's Hallmark has everything you need to make summer cool. From clothing to jewelry to unique one-of-a-kind gifts, Diane's Hallmark is the place to go. Diane's also has a large religious section as well. Come in today to see it all. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center.
Tip. Toss. Take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.